Different video today. I've bought a Memphis Shades clear screen, detachable one, to go on the trike, so that when we're travelling somewhere she hasn't got the full force of the wind hitting her all the time. And detachable, obviously, when we get to where we're going, she can take it off if she wants, store it. So I've been reading, cut it open on that side just so I could pull the destructions out. First thing it basically says, additional tools required that are not included in this kit: 7/16 wrench or an 11mm, virtually the same size. So I've got that out, cover the gas tank, etc, bollocks to that. And then basically it's just telling you how to mount these brackets to the windshield. So I think what I'll do is I'll find my knife, we'll cut all this lot out of its placky covering and see what we've got. Fucking hate this shrink wrap shit. Back pack, whatever it's actually called. Now it looks like all four of the fork clamps are identical. It's quite a good design as well, I think. You can loosen this bolt in the end of the thing and move it in and out. So in a sense, if you've got your windscreen mounted, you can actually move it backwards and forwards, which I'll show later on when I get to that point. Allen key that they give you. Cool. Quite light as well. No, it must be aluminium. Don't think it states anywhere on here that it's... No. Right. So the next thing, I'll just grab the screen. Basically the screen is it's basically the same as what you'd see on a standard Harley Davidson. I haven't actually had this out yet, so put them over there, out the way. Cool as. Yeah, so that's the basic screen, and then what it's telling us, install the 2 mounting plates onto the windshield using the bottom and the 3rd bolt up. Leave the nylon washers off. The small tab goes to the bottom. Obviously you don't put it on that way, obviously goes that way. The bent bits face into your headlight according to this. Yeah, the small tab goes to the bottom, big one at the top, tabs pointing towards the headlight. Loosely install the 4 fork clamps, blah blah blah. Should be quite a straightforward job, this. And it says there's little nylon washers under these, it says to leave them off. So, 3rd one up. There's the nylon washer, and I think in a minute I'm probably going to end up changing that wrench and getting a socket. So I'll get the right one for this side. Even this bracket's slotted so you can move it up and down. I'll just sort of set it in the middle for now. I'm not going to tighten these up yet, not fully anyways. I want to be able to move stuff about a bit. I'm just going to turn it over and have a look at the other side actually. It's quite tidy looking. I'm not too keen on the way that it's slightly out of shape here on the bar, but I'll be able to sort that. Helps if you've got fingernails. fucking tight. Well, not tight, just stiff. Feels as if they've had some sort of like Loctite on or something, but it doesn't look as if they have. The threads are, oh no, it does actually. Just seen it. So let's put it sat on and get the right. Oh, I see. So obviously that lifts up, pushes back down and clamps in place. Cool as. Right, so I think what we'll do next is I'll just knock you off a minute, give these fork legs a quick wipe over, and we'll start putting these brackets onto the fork leg. So, back in a minute. Right, on these instructions, it's obviously showing the direction. I mean, it's pretty obvious you'd have your slot sticking out the front rather than having it fucking sticking out the back. But obviously some people maybe aren't sure, but so it shows the correct way to put the bracket on, and then on here it's got space approximately 2 inch apart. Now I've just had a quick measure on the bracket, and that 2 inch apart means from the bottom of that bobbin to the top of that bobbin, I'm going to call them bobbins because I don't know what else to call them, not like centres, if you know what I mean. So we shall make a start. So with the little handy tool that you get supplied with, obviously I'm going to be changing this in a minute. Probably go to my socket Allen key set. So we're just taking the Allen screw out. And it's almost like a T-slot system. It won't just slip in, you've got to slide it in for different, obviously for different size forks. I'll have to work out which size I want actually. Hey, something, just to make it fucking easy to go together, you're going to have to pry. I mean, that just sits on the fork, and looking at it, it's going to slide into the last slot here. It's going to slide into that, but you're going to have to stick something in there just to pry it up slightly so you can get that to slide in, because that end is tight in against the fork. So I have somewhere some plastic tools, so I'm just going to knock it off a minute and get a ratchet plastic tool out that I can pry that out with without marking the forks and that. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Right, the plasticky tools that I had wouldn't fit in this little sort of slot bit there. They were too fat. So what I've done is I've just basically just pulled that out ever so slightly, put it against the fork, and it's just give us enough room to slide this on. And so it's like a T slot sort of thing. So that enables us to actually put it together, which, to be truthful, I thought was going to be a right pain in the arse, but hopefully we can get this fucking thing lined up. Right, so that's slid together at that. So now I need to put the fucking screw back in. Well, we can't reach. Yes, I can. Oh, that's handy. I thought it was the other way around there. So I'll just release that pressure a little bit. Pull that round. It can come in from this side. So what I'm going to do is just screw that together just lightly. No, it's going to clamp obviously because I've hardly put any pressure on that, and it's hard to turn. Obviously you want it facing proper forward, so I'll leave them sort of loose-ish until I've got the screen on, but I need to know where I want the screen. So I'll just offer it up, give us some sort of indication as to so if I put it, I'll move that bracket actually. So if I set that bracket back in the middle, looking at that, I'm going to say an inch. Get the bracket back off. I'm going to set this bottom one an inch up from the top of the indicator bracket. That's an inch. And without pulling my cards right here, I should be able to use the square edge of the rule to line the bracket up so it's somewhere near square. And then what I'll do is I'll just nip it slightly so it can't move freely. I still want to be able to move it, but not just it drops when you put something on it. And then I'll do the other side and set that an inch above the indicator. Make sure that the fucking indicators are set. Yeah, they are both sat on the bottom yoke, so it's going to be level. Right, so I'm going to say what I did with the last one, just as you can see there, basically just got a slight grip of it and just pulled it out slightly. And if I put it against the fork, it's just give us enough room that I can slide do the bracket in, do the half of the bracket, should I say. So get this bottom one on. I've also found that it slides from the bottom easier than it slides in at the top, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to screw in into that one. Yep. Get the ruler. We'll set this one at 1 inch. I mean, I'll fine tune it when I get the screen on. I'll try and set these brackets on the screen so that they're in the same place to each other, if you know what I mean. Square that up a touch. I mean, these might not want to be square, as in square on. I mean, it's surprising, I haven't put any real pressure on, and that's gripping quite well. So, basically just the other two. So I'll just quickly whip these on. We'll measure between the two. It says approximately 2 inch. Bend that out slightly and double check it. Yep. Yeah, so if you just bend it out slightly, it's so much easier to get it to go on. As I say, it's like a T-slot system. Just going to tape it, ruler again. So it says it wants to be about 2 inch between these. Which is about there. And then just eye it through. So they're in line with each other. And just nip it up a touch. Get this last one on. Right, what I'll do now is just spin you around, I think, back to the screen, and we'll sort of do something with these brackets. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to nip the bottom one up, sort of half-ish. I'll try and put it equally. A little bit more through. Right at that. Let's say when it's mounted to the bike, and you can look at it, you can tell any discrepancies. You know, so if it's not like, if it's tilting slightly to one side, you can do little fine adjustments to get it to fit properly. So I'm going to turn you back to this lot and we'll try and fit it on, see how it's going to go. So I hope I've get the bottom to go in. Oh, you fucker, that was turned. Let's pop back out. You've got obviously sort of push the screen in a little bit. I might be able to tweak that as I go, and I think I've just fucked up by yeah, I think that's on. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen this bottom one. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm not sure that's pushed all the way back, so it locks in place. Same with this one. Make sure this top one's all the way on and that it's closed properly. So that's the top one. Now what I can do is just lift these bottom ones so that they line up. So just loosen it up a touch. And then snug that one on. And same with this one. And once I've got them so that they're sort of in line, I can then doesn't look too bad actually. As I say, this is just for touring, for when we're actually going somewhere. So a slight curve to the top. What I might do eventually is undo these bottom two where the thing sits in, and I might bring the bottom out slightly so the screen's more. But what I'll do is I'll get a, I'm gonna also, sorry I'm getting ahead of myself here, I'm going to loosen both side clamps off and I'm going to push the screen down. I want them so that it's about 5mm off the top of the indicators. But before I do that, I'm going to go grab her and see what she thinks of it. Because I don't want to spend ages setting it up and she doesn't like the fucking thing. She will, like she chose it, so. But, right, I'll be back soon. Right. So she's happy with it, which sort of knew she would be. She's happy with the position of it, apart from I've told her I'm going to lower it down a bit. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to tighten these clamps up properly, and then I'm just going to loosen off the nut on the back. I'll come in from this side with the spanner and loosen them off, and I'm going to just pull the screen down on its slots to get it to where I want it. Another good thing I like about this screen is it gives you an option. With the size of the opening here, we can actually put a bigger headlight on, like a 7-inch, and you've got the room for it. So I think that's what we might end up doing, because this thing's piss poor like. I mean, it lights up, you can see, but it's not brilliant. But if I put a bigger headlight on, like what's on, as an example, what's on the switchback, I think. No, that's a big fucking built-in job. But just like a custom 7-inch headlight, and I'll do the same as what I've done on the electric glide and on the switchback. I'll put an LED bulb in it so that it's brighter. But for now, I'm just going to work out what size this fucking spanner, Allen key is, and I'm going to get my kit out. Doesn't actually say on it what size it is. Oh, there's a list on the back. Mounting instructions: left mounting on bush, 1 socket shoulder washer, 3/16 short arm Allen wrench and a cover. So if I just, so I'm just going to knock you off for a minute and I'll get the right size on me, like my screwdriver attachment, and then I'll come back. Right, I'm going to start by, actually what I am going to do, if I can, I'm just going to double check my measurements off here, off to the top yoke. And see, one thing I will have to do is put my glasses on so that I can read the fucking ruler. Cool lads, they're exactly the same. So now I'll tighten them up. Says here. I don't want to over tighten them, because at the end of the day they are just aluminium. And my socket won't just go on the top one, so I'll have to do that with the Allen key. Come on, you fucker. Right, so they're going nowhere. Another thing you've got on these is on the bushing assembly where they clip on, there's spacers, and you can alter the spacers if you need to just ever so slightly move them to one side or the other. But I'm hoping that they're going to be alright once I take the screen off. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, quite an easy sort of setup. I think the hardest thing's just getting it where you personally want it. So I'm just going to loosen this one off so that I can slide the screen down. Same on that one. And that should, I haven't got that one too tight, that should enable us to do a bit of slack on the top. Even though I hadn't tightened these, they were just ever so slightly nipped down. No, that one wasn't. Yeah, and I should be able to now slide it down, I think, unless I've just took it to its max. Yep, that's as far down as that's going. So I'll just check it across there. Well, it's weird because it looks as if one side's sitting higher than the other. Let me just check this measurement on this side. 1 1/4. So that one is 1 1/4. And actually, so is that. It's weird to look at. Just wondering if when I eye this bar through to the handlebars, across the handlebars, the bar's absolutely bob on in line. But it just looks as if that's sitting higher up. It could be the indicator itself. But what I'll do now is I'll fucking tighten them up. And we're not going to alter it that way yet. She's going to see how it is as it is, and if need be, all we have to do is undo this bottom one to pull the bottom of the screen out, which will push the top of the screen in. But until she rides it, we won't know. I would like to bring it right in and then adjust it back out if necessary, but oh, I thought that was stuck. It weren't. It was just me. And on this bit I was on about before, where it's got a bit of a bend in it, what I'm going to do is, that looks as if it's 1.5 mm thick. So I'm just going to get some 1.5 mm stainless, shape the ends, roll it with my little rollers so that it fits perfectly on, undo all these fastenings, fit it on and mark it from behind, drill it and then polish it up, and then put a new one on there without this bend in it. I think what's happened here is they've rolled it to the shape, but then I think probably them last two holes have been drilled slightly in the wrong place, so instead of it sitting and bolting down nicely to the shape of the screen, it's had to bend out to fit the holes, sort of thing. Just tighten this last one up. Right, I'll just knock you off for a minute. Right, I've just double checked all, tightened all these up. Double checked with her that she's happy. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show how easy it is. Now it's all tightened in place. I'm going to show you the clips on the back of this as well, if I haven't already. So you just push the clips back and lift them up, pull it forward and lift it off. Now, got the clips on the back. I don't know whether I've already showed these. I can't even see the fucking screen now. So they, when you lock it back in place, they just come, push that out, sort of almost like a spring. So then to unlock it, just push it backwards and lift. I'm going to try and do this from the other side, because I don't think I just blocked because I can't see the screen properly. So pulls back, drops down, locks in place. You can see the little bit popping out of here, and that's the bit you push. Lift it up, and we'll see how easy it goes back on. So just line one side up so it's in, just push it together slightly. Push it down, push it forward, put clip out, back in, same on this side. Clip out, push it down, back in. And that's it, secure. So, overall impressions for fitting it, apart from trying to work out how to do them clamps to start with, because I couldn't figure out how to get them to slide together. But as I say, just bent it out slightly to give a bit of room. They have pulled tight, they're not moving like. There's adjustment up and down with the slots on the screen. There's adjustment out and back in and tilt, and which I haven't. In fact, I'll just do it because I know where I've got it set. So if I just undo the bottom mounting, where the bottom hook's on, basically what you can do, I'll just put this back down, I'll do it from this side so I don't block anything. Basically you can just pull the bottom out. It's easier if you do it that way. So as you can see there, pull it all the way, that side's a little bit tighter, and it tilts the screen right back, or back to where it was. Just push it in and it lifts it more flatter at the front. So this is how we're going to have it to start with, and we'll see how she gets on with the wind or lack of it, and as we go we can adjust it so that to the point where it's back, if you know what I mean, but it's still blowing the wind over the top of her, should I say, rather than onto her. And just nip that back up, and that's that done. So overall impressions so far, and as I've already stated, I'm going to be putting a bigger headlight in here, So that's going to be spot on. Overall impressions, apart from this strip which has been drilled wrong, fitting wise, dead simple really. On and off, taking it on and off, dead simple. Quality of everything, you know, is good. That's the only thing that lets it down, is where that hasn't been fitted properly. But apart from that, the quality of it is absolutely spot on. The brackets are good. It's just good. And it's not a flimsy thing. I mean, I'm giving that a good rag, and it's not, you know, it's not just flopping about like some screens I've come across in my time. So yeah, there you have it. Memphis Shades screen fitted. As I say, adjustable. We'll adjust it as we go on, as we ride. We'll move it out a little bit, and you know, till we get to the point where she goes, no, that's not very good, and then we'll just put it back a little bit. What I did there at the bottom, you can also do at the top. So I could actually pull the top out further so it's more upright in front of you. There's a lot of adjustment on it. As you've seen, there's slots in there so you can move the screen up and down with the slots. So yeah, so we'll see how it goes. So for now, that's it. Right, catch you later.